This is going to be your weekly tarot and oracle relationship reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies you may have been experiencing throughout the week, the energies currently, and then a sneak peek at the upcoming days. Now, as I'm filming this, I do feel a brightness in the air. You know, there's this bit of sunshine. It's not as stormy as it was, even though you definitely feel something brewing. And of course, what is it that's brewing? Well, January 20th. Tomorrow we have the Sun-Pluto conjunction. This means we are having quite the interesting day of energy because we are now leaving Capricorn season, going into Aquarius season, and on top of that, Pluto in Capricorn is moving into in Aquarius, all on the same day. So this is intense. You know, we're leaving behind now a 15-year generational cycle, and you're going to see some shifts. You know, what we were living in the last 15 years with Capricorn energy was all about sort of the structure and business and finance and you know, I don't know, much different energy than Aquarius, I'll put it that way. What we're moving into generationally is changes in technology. Aquarius energy is like a visionary, right? We're going to look at things differently. And that's why I think so many of us are on edge right now saying, what's going to happen? What do we need to know? We're trying to figure out all the details. And yet, how can you really? We have no way of knowing until we experience it. I keep saying we have no data for 2024. We still don't really have any data for 2024. I mean, listen, it's 19 days in as I'm filming this. And I mean, what could we possibly know about 2024 yet? But I do know that it's a number 8 year in numerology, and that excites me because that's abundance. So I am excited for this shift. We're really, really changing. I mean, the next 20 years, wow. I mean, what an event, really, when you think about this. So we're going to see how this sort of impacts right now on your connection. Now, if you're not watching this for a connection or a relationship, it can be your own inner masculine and feminine energies. You know, take it as it resonates. But every week that I've been doing this, the energies have gotten deeper and more intense. There's like a storyline happening, and I appreciate all of you who are watching this and following along and letting me know how it resonates with you. So, you know, I'd love to know right off the bat, how are you feeling? What is the vibe in your connection or even your own masculine and feminine energies? So let's see what's going on overall here. Round and round. Oh boy. Well, if you've been going round and round in your connection, I know how you feel. I used to always ask the question, and I still do every now and again, how many rounds do you want to go? And I have a feeling that this shift we're about to have is going to unearth some things you never thought. It may put you on another course, another path of some sort. Hard to say, but there are some shifts happening. Because Pluto energy, I think what people don't realize is how deep Pluto is. I mean, we're talking about the underworld. We're talking about transformation, death and rebirth, regeneration, almost like that feeling or that transition before the rebirth. You know, so if you've been feeling like you're in a little bit of a limbo or a neither nor, it's because, well, we kind of are. We're not in the old. I keep saying this, we're not in the old of 2023 or previous years. We're not fully yet into the throes of 2024. We don't really have the data. So we're kind of in this moment where we're like, okay, now what? And emotions are running high. A lot of people have been telling me that they are crying, they're anxious, they're nauseous, they're feeling all these energies hitting them from every angle. And it's because basically it's time to wake up. Pluto is basically like the great revealer. It's telling you to heed the call. Have a transformation. Embrace it, because if you fight it, well, you know, I don't want to say good luck, but fighting something is not going to help you. I would almost use the analogy of somebody who's sort of sliding down a cliff, you know, and they're about to have a tower moment, and they're holding on to the nail, like trying to fight the shift. And if you're doing that, You're just prolonging the inevitable. Now, I'm not saying I want you to have tower moments that are destructive or bad. I don't think tower moments are bad things. I've had many. I've had major ones. I can assure you that you will be okay. Symbolically, this is about, resiliency and strength and finding the confidence to move yourself forward. And I know it's not easy, but it will be okay. So let's see what else you need to know here. Oops, I have some cards popping out. Unity. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Come together with others. 222. Interesting. 22 or 222 is Master Builder. I think anything can be a twin flame number, but twos are about partnership and unity. Wow. 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 Okay. Let's take a love oracle card here. Romance angels. Chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. You have to be careful with chemistry because yes, you can have that spark, but spark doesn't mean longevity. And I think that's where people get really confused. Okay. So let's get into the reading. I'm going to be using the before tarot, the regular tarot, and the after tarot. So let's start with the before tarot. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to look at what's in your headspace, your person's headspace, your heart space, their heart space, overall energy and underlying energy. And of course, feel free to swap sides if it makes sense. Again, if it's for your own inner masculine and feminine energies, take it as it resonates. So let's see what's going on in the previous energies, the previous days. Now, how many of you have had a person in your life be very quiet with you at a distance? They got really deep in their feelings and maybe they pulled away, because they're scared of what love means or what commitment means. It's amazing. It's amazing how this is a societal thing, these restrictions. And I'm going to make an observation that is not really rooted in anything, just my own intuition and observations. I feel like I'm going to start a new series called Confessions of a Tarot Reader. And I don't mean like juicy tidbits of people's information. It's more like observations of things that I've encountered in doing this, for so long. Here's my thought. Capricorn energy, Pluto and Capricorn. Capricorn energy is fear of moving forward. That's why Capricorns have issues with their knees. Okay, they're ruled by their knees. Every zodiac sign has a body part or an area of the body. And we're looking to transform that fear of moving forward. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Capricorns. I love Capricorn energy in the sense that they are methodical. They know every detail, every stat, every angle of everything. That's why it's like business and finance. Think of what we've experienced in the last 15 years in regards to corporations and business and money, right? And now I'm thinking about the analogy that we're moving into Aquarius, where Aquarius is about a visionary energy, like I said, right? It's changes in the way we think. And it's funny, Aquarius energy is so much more emotional than people realize because Aquarius is very good at hiding it, but they're very emotional and they mean well. They love hard, Aquarius. They love hard. They hate the idea of shutting the door on something because if they shut the door, it means like it's dead to them. And kind of like Scorpio vibes. They're very similar in that way. But I'm just making an observation that it feels like we're in this vibe of fear of moving forward. But maybe this is what we need, right? We need to unearth this, I don't know, mask, facade, fear of moving forward. Anyways, I digress. So let's see what's going on in your headspace right now. Well, actually, previous days, maybe. I'm thinking right now in the present, I have to be honest. But anyways, recent past. We've had this card before where we've talked about holding back. Four of coins is extremes of giving your time, love, or money. All or nothing. And you've been feeling left out in the cold. I think this week, there's been an energy of holding back. And I don't know, to be honest with you, now that I see these cards together, if it's so much you holding back. You might be, because you might have your own fears. But in this connection, I think you've been feeling left out in the cold. In your person's headspace, yeah, they're trying to do the work. You know, we've talked about this many times. They're trying to do the work. They're needing to make boundaries. Boundaries are always the issue. You know that? Always. Never fails. Let's see what's going on in your heart space here. Yeah, you've been needing to make a decision. And I talk about this all the time. Like, are you in the old? Are you in the new? And I hear some of you asking me the question, like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know what the old is and I don't know what the new is. I get it. Let me just give you the most basic analogy that I can think of. And that is, when I'm debating something or I have a decision to make, I don't care what it is, I ask myself, am I in the old? Am I in the new? What would Kelly of yesteryear do? Do I want to do that? Or do I want to be in Kelly of right now, who has a completely different view of how things should go? Because I've learned, I've grown, I've changed. I'm learning from my lessons. We're lifelong learners. So I'll put it to you this way. If you're making the same mistakes over and over and over again, you're not learning the lessons. And that's why the tower moments come at you. And sometimes they come at you harder. And I've been through that, so I get it. And sometimes we get into this mode where we say, but why? Why is this happening? Oh my goodness, like, can I get a break already? It's because for whatever reason, there's something you don't want to hear. Okay? There's something you don't want to know. There's something you don't want to acknowledge. And I know that that's a really difficult thing to hear. You know, maybe you don't want to hear it, but it's honest. If we want change, we have to go through the obstacles. We have to go through the darkness in order to have the light. That's what it comes down to. There's no easy way around anything. Do you want short-term gain, long-term pain, or short-term pain, long-term gain, right? I ask that all the time. So with this, we have the Knight of Swords. So here's the difficulty that I think you're having. And that is, there's a part of you that wants to rush the process. You know, the Knight of Swords here is like, I'm ready to ride. Like, I'm going on that adventure. I want it to happen now. It better happen now, the way I want it. And, excuse me, sometimes I think there might be an inability or maybe a not wanting to see the bigger picture and understanding the other side of it. Just because we want something quickly does not mean that it works with another person or with another situation. You know, somebody on TikTok asked me to remind them about the cake analogy. And if you haven't watched the cake analogy, I suggest you do. Or maybe it's time to rewatch the cake analogy. Maybe that's why that comment came up this morning. But here's the thing. People will ask me, but why can't we work through these things together? And my answer is simple. You can't. Because you are two distinctly different people. You have different traumas, triggers, and hurts. You can't possibly take the exact same steps. Now, yes, you can share a soul, or yes, you can have similarities, or you can mirror each other in certain ways, but you are uniquely you. It is your mind, your body, your soul. And just like you would want somebody to respect you, you have to respect them and their journey. And that's why I say, number one, it's trust the process. You're number one, trust it. But at the same time, you have to trust their process. And if their process is slower, then so be it, unfortunately. You know, nobody likes that. It's frustrating. But it's also a testament to our patience and how we're trying to control things. Now, in your person's heart space recently, we have here the Six of Pentacles. You know, Six of Pentacles is a card of investment and equal giving and receiving and balance. And I think that your person is trying to find their balance. Yeah, they're going through the heartbreak still. I think we saw this card before too. You know, it's like there's still some hurts there. Overall energy, Queen of Cups. There's still an element of overgiving. And I think a lot of us would agree that it's hard to stop doing that. You know, you've got to be careful that you're not transferring one set of giving to another set of giving. Yeah, it may feel like new energy to you, but it's essentially the same thing. We're just transferring. So just be aware of where you're putting your energy right now. You know, trust your intuition and follow your heart. And when I say follow your heart, I'm not talking romantically necessarily. Like, the heart has an electric magnetic field. It has an intuition. It knows before your gut. And it knows better than your brain, because your brain lies to you. Your brain is responsible for the negative self-talk. So be aware of what you say to yourself, how you speak to yourself. And actually, let me just add another side note here, another observation. Confessions of a Tarot Reader. Your soul, your body, I mean, I know you can debate soul and body, but let me put it to you this way. Your energy has to match your words. If your words are one thing, but your soul or your energy or your body is saying different, you're getting confusion and you're not sending clear signals to the universe as to what you want. How can the universe deliver to you if you're contradicting yourself, right? And I think we live in a society of mixed messages everywhere. You know, this hot and cold business where, you know, we're dealing with relationships where everybody's so hot and so cold. Everybody wants it, but they don't want it. Everybody wants the love, but they're afraid of it and what to do with it. And this is why everybody's so jumbled up, and we have to become very clear. And that clarity brings peace. We've talked about this before. That amazing TikTok that I saw, or video that I saw, where it said, now forgive me, this was between man and woman, but it doesn't have to be. It can be between anybody. You know, if a man wants peace, he's got to give clarity. If a person wants peace, they gotta give clarity. If they don't give clarity, they're gonna get chaos. So take that analogy even for yourself. If you want peace, you've got to give yourself clarity. If you're not giving yourself clarity about what you want, how are you going to get peace? You're just going to get chaos in your life, you know? So I'm finding that a lot of people will say one thing, you know, about what they want, but really their energy is screaming something differently. The energy screams, I have wounds, and that's okay. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to have traumas and triggers and hurts, but we have to address them. You know, I don't want you living in the past. You can visit there, you can't live there, but there has to be some sort of connection to why things are the way they are, you know, and what's not being addressed. So I always say, you know, you can tell me whatever you want, but I know the energy deep down. And it's important to have clarity and to be honest, you know, and to be authentic about one's self, which is, of course, hard to do naturally. Okay, I digress again. Now, see, this is my point. You know, I laugh at myself because as I was speaking, I thought to myself, you know, I should have really taken that second card, but there obviously was a reason why I didn't. Look what came out. The Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is about deception. It's about wearing a false self mask, you know, needing to be more authentic or tell the truth, or, you know, this is like preparing to try a fast one, you know, and this is what I was saying, you know, you can tell anybody whatever you want, you know, but I know, and there's no judgment on that. It just means let's work through it and figure it out, okay? Underlying energy, yeah, the Seven of Wands. We're getting sevens again. We had sevens last week as well. Seven of Wands is like praying for this battle to be won. You know, here's the thing. Again, prayer and manifestation, they're one and the same in my opinion. You're asking for something. But does your energy match your words? Are you living by that example? You know, that is really one of the $1 million questions. I have many $1 million questions that I ask, but that's one of them. And the Page of Swords. Interesting. The Page of Swords is about being logical and decisive, but I also think that this is an energy of spying or observing and trying to figure out another person. And it's tough. It's tough because it feels like a bit of a song and dance. Actually, if you want to know, I feel there's such a huge level of testing right now in relationships. How much do you love me? How much do you want me? How much are you going to wait for me? How much I can breadcrumb you? How much I can... And I don't think anybody sits there and, like, you know, contemplates or I don't know what the word is. I don't know. Orchestrates anybody to be breadcrumbed. I just think that sometimes we test each other because there's so much pain, there's so much trauma and triggers and hurts. Like, I don't know. We have to find a way through that. Now, let's take a look at the current energy. And I'm drawn to using my little Prince deck again because, I don't know, I didn't use it all week. And now I want to use it again. I feel like I want to kind of continue from where we were. So let's go back to the headspace. So currently, now this current energy, I mean, like, okay, Sun, Pluto conjunction. How are you going to be feeling? We don't know until that moment, but you might want to just take note. Do you feel a shift? Is there something that is different? I just saw a blue jay. I literally just turned my head for a second and I saw a blue jay. There might be a sign for you. I'll have to look up the spiritual meaning of blue jays. Okay. Or if you know, let me know in the comments. Okay. In your headspace, the moon. The moon is intuition. It's a bit of worry and anxiety. We do have a full moon in Leo coming up very soon. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Because that's going to be a little fiery energy there coming up. I think that's on the 25th. I could be wrong. The tower. See, this is my point. Tower moments. I said at the very beginning, it's like somebody's fighting tooth and nail to not have that tower moment, but you can't avoid it. If you've been sweeping things under the rug for a very long time, at some point, it's going to come. My dad used to always say, you can only go to the bank so many times. Now, in your person's headspace, we have here the Page of Cups. We had this last week, and I remember this because we talked about the drunkard. Actually, that's so interesting. So if you don't know that reference, you might want to go back and watch. But the drunkard is a planet, is a person on a planet the little prince visits. And it's a very short chapter. And it talks about the cycle of addiction. You know, the drunkard drinks because he's ashamed because he drinks. And I'm looking at that round and round card, and that's kind of what I'm feeling. Now, I don't know if your person is dealing with any addictive tendencies, but I'll put it to you this way. The cycle doesn't have to just be about addiction. It can be about relationships where, let's say, and forgive me for this analogy, but let's say person one is being a jerk. Person two doesn't really want to be intimate with that person because of jerkiness. Because person number two doesn't want to be intimate, person number one becomes more of a jerk, and so on and so forth. And so, again, it could be any cycle that you're experiencing, not just those examples. But, you know, this tells me that there's a bit of round and round energy, and somebody's got to get off the hamster wheel, or somebody's got to get off the roller coaster. Now, the Page of Cups is an energy that says, believe in miracles. Anything is possible. And this is the whole point, is that when you get off the roller coaster, you have to trust that everything's going to be okay. That's what I mean, trusting the process. I mean, I don't look at the Page of Cups typically as a trust the process kind of card. For me, that's more like Knight of Pentacles or Seven of Pentacles. But in this context, it kind of is, because this is like, look at how this person is sort of daydreaming about what could be. And it's okay to do that. Imagine, feel it. But again, does your body, does your energy believe it? Trust it, that it's coming to you. Okay, with that, we have here the Four of Cups. Now, isn't it interesting? I wish I would have said it a second ago. When I do see this card, I think of the Four of Cups. Because the Four of Cups is this over-analyzing, maybe even daydreaming to the point where they don't see an opportunity. And maybe your person doesn't see an opportunity. That's what the Four of Cups is. I think there's an element of both of that. Daydreaming, over-analyzing, missing opportunities possibly. Okay, let's see what's going on in your heart space. The Page of Swords. See, this is my point. Are you spying or observing because your person has been quiet or distant? You got to be careful with energetic chasing. I know it's natural. I'm not saying that I've never done it. Of course I have. We're human. But you've got to be careful with it. Because you're kind of wondering. You're like, WTF? like really? You know, like it's almost like you make so much progress or something shifts so nicely. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's like, where did this go? Why? And let's see strength. You've got to have the strength and the courage. You got to be stronger than that desire to chase. Now, in your person's heart space, we have here the Ace of Wands, which I love. That's a spark. And, okay, hold on. You know what? If you haven't watched the video, the chakra reading video from earlier in the week, I would go watch that because we talked about the wood snake. And look, here's the snake and wood snake. Okay. Ace of Wands is purpose and passion, but the card was wood snake, the waiting game. Just even maybe go back because I read it from the book in that video if you need a refresher. It was like they're laying back and observe. See, I know what this is. It's so interesting. Okay. Wow, this feels like it's going to be a very long video and I'm not trying to make it long. Okay. We're talking here about feeling left out in the cold, right? You being drawn to spy and observe. It's almost like your person is testing you. And now, again, I don't think they're sort of sitting there doing it on purpose, but it's almost like they're the ones that are doing the observing and trying to see how you're going to react. I don't like testing. I don't like song and dance like this, but I feel like they're trying to be in that waiting game energy. You're both in that waiting. Go back and watch that video maybe watch it again or watch it when I read from that book. It's really that important. Like really important. Because this is a spark, a purpose. There's a spark in the heart here. They've been hurt. They've been hurting. I think they're scared of their own feelings. Oh, see what I mean? 6 of Cups. Yeah, they're hurt from old things, nostalgia. I don't think they're thinking about their ex. I think they're like, as in before you, I think it's more like what hurt them before and they're kind of stuck in that old energy. Okay. Overall energy. There's the snake again. King of Wands. See, the King of Wands doesn't play around. You know, I always say the Emperor doesn't play around. He's the King of Kings. But the King of Wands is right up there. Because that King of Wands, I think we had the King of Wands last time. I'm seeing a lot of repeating cards here. King of Wands is purpose and passion. Nurturing. Yeah, Ace of Swords. Clarity and truth. I think this King of Wands, it's not about gender, but I think that King of Wands is going to come through with some sort of clarity, purpose, and truth. Okay, underlying energy. 2 of Wands. Got to leave the comfort zone. Got to leave the comfort zone. What you used to know is no longer. 4 of Wands, 11-11. How beautiful. 4-4. Angels are with you. 11-11. Spiritual ascension. New beginnings. This is the whole point. You're being brought into a whole new level of ascension. Okay. Now, pardon me. I obviously didn't prepare myself enough to grab my cards that I need. Okay, great. Wasn't so difficult. I thought I was going to knock the whole table on camera. Let's take a look at the near future. Oh my goodness, we're already at 29:11. Oh my God, 29:11 on the clock. 2 and 9 is 11. 11. I just said it. Oh my goodness. Okay, every week these readings get deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, so in your headspace coming up, temperance, patience, forgiveness, reconciliation. It's more than that though. It's changing. It's brewing. It's alchemy. I always think of The Alchemist actually as the sort of older version of The Little Prince. Little Prince seems to be more like a children's book, even though it's really too deep for a children's book. But there's something brewing and alchemizing, turning something into something else. 8 of Cups. It's interesting. I think you are ready to kind of leave some things behind, even though you're scared to do it. In your person's headspace, the star, and that's healing, and that's blessings and wishes coming true, which is absolutely lovely. And, oh gosh, my goodness. 1111? Anyone? 1111? New beginnings. It's coming. Okay. Your heart space. 9 of Cups, ask and you shall receive. Feasting. This is about you truly believing what you're asking for. The words matching the energy. See, there's the 5 of coins. You're packing up your stuff and you're getting out of the cold. You can't make that up. 5-5, big changes ahead. Tower moments. What did we say? Getting out of that energy. No more. Your person's heart space. You know, again, I don't know why I'm shocked. I do this for a living. 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups. 6-6. Equal giving and receiving. We're getting all the angel numbers, by the way. Like, really. You know, this is like a wish coming true. Coming out of that old energy. Oh. The Emperor. What did I tell you? I said the King of Wands. You know, I mentioned the Emperor even before that. The Emperor does not play around. Another number 4 card. Overall energy. Taking oneself out of the mental entrapment. No more overthinking, overanalyzing. Okay, King of Wands again. In the same position. Strong, passionate, courageous. Has a purpose. Underlying energy, strength. More repeating. 8-8 now we've had. The Hermit. There's that snake. A lot of snake energy, and snakes get a bad rap, so don't take them as negative. Snake energy is actually very significant in the Little Prince. I really don't want to spoil it for anybody, but you might want to go and read it. Like I was saying, it's free. It's in the public domain. If you put Little Prince PDF in whatever language. The Hermit is all about searching your soul. Now we've had 9-9 as well. There's been 9s, there's been 6s, there's been 4s, there's been 5s. Wow. Okay. Okay. You know, I have to do this. I've been doing this lately too. I just don't feel like we're totally done yet. I just have to take a card for each side of this deck here. Surprise. You may be about to be surprised. Intense. The intensity of a true soul connection includes great highs and great lows. Yeah, we know. And right now, we're kind of in that in-between. Okay, let's see what we need to surrender or surrender to. On this side here, surrender to the wisdom of your body. Listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you're energized and happy, move forward. Again, does your body, does your energy match your words? And on your person's side here, surrender your need to always be right. They've been stubborn. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. I'll tell you what this is. This would be like an example where you know what the connection is, and you try to tell that person. And this is why I advise you never to tell somebody they're your twin flame or to go through the motions of trying to convince them. Sorry, I say that with a sigh because I know how difficult it is. You cannot convince somebody and you can't pull somebody up the cake. They have to know for themselves. And if they're pushing you away and saying, oh, I can't give, I you know, nothing good can come of this. No, I don't have those feelings. Listen, you have to trust the process and trust their process. You got to listen to them and respect it. At the same time, you got to let them realize for themselves You know, they've got to figure out their own emotions and how they feel and work through their blockages. And if they recognize that they've made a big mistake, then it's up to them to come in and fix it and be that emperor who comes in and says, I'm not messing around, right? But that's up to them to do that. We can't convince anybody. I really hope this resonates with you. Please let me know in the comments. Another deep reading. My goodness, I'm at 35 minutes here. But thank you for your kindness and support. I always appreciate a like, a comment, a subscribe. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in my bio. If you'd like a recorded reading, that's also available on my website. So thank you very much, and I wish you the most amazing day.